Hi, Dan. My name is Mike Choy.
Hi, Mike. Looking forward to seeing you in a few days at Comic-Con.
I am a comic book artist.
If you don't know Mike, he's a wonderful comic book artist. Here are some of the titles he's worked on for Marvel. Here are some of the titles he's worked on for DC. And if you would like to support his work, he's got a creator-owned comic called Kochukaru that is being funded on Kickstarter right now. You can go check that out if you would like to support his work.
And I also teach figure drawing at the University of Incarnate Word here in San Antonio, Texas. My question is that,
All right, let's see it.
according to one particular translation of the Bible, the second commandment says that thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything in heaven, earth, or in the water. So, am I going to hell? And are all of my students going to hell? For this reason. I might be going for other reasons, but for this reason, breaking the second commandment. Thank you very much.
Great question, Mike. The second commandment is actually one of the longer ones, 3 whole verses, and it does seem to have a rationale behind it. Here's the Hebrew of those 3 verses. So it starts in Exodus 20, verse 4, and the Hebrew there says, "You shall not make for yourself a pesel," which would be like a graven image. This is something crafted, or any likeness. And here the idea is the abstract sense of a likeness. So this is actually what's going on in your head, but it's saying not to turn that into a graven image, or not to materialize that, turn that into something material, which is in the heavens above, and which is in the earth beneath, and which is in the seas that are beneath the earth. And there's debate about what exactly this means. Is the idea not to create any kind of divine image that resembles anything that is in the heaven or on the earth or in the seas? Because there were certainly nations around ancient Israel where they would create divine images that resembled all kinds of different animals and fish and people and things like that. So the idea does seem to be here not to create something with the intent of worshiping it. And we see that in the beginning of the next verse, verse 5. "You shall not bow down to them, and you shall not serve them." And both of these verbs, bow down and serve, have the connotation of worship. You shall not bow down in worship, you shall not serve them in worship. "Because I am Adonai your God, I am a jealous God who visits the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third and the fourth," and here parenthetically you have to think generations, "of those who hate me." And then verse 6, "and a doer of chesed," that would be translated loving kindness, mercy, grace, something like that. Basically, it's doing something for someone that you are not required by a given law to do. So it's going above and beyond what is expected of you. "To the thousands which love me and which obey, keep, guard my commandments." So the idea does seem to be that you're not supposed to make anything with the intent of worshiping it. However, in the early Jewish literature, you have this concept of building a fence around the law, the idea being not even getting close to the edge of that cliff of breaking the law, and so interpreting things quite broadly so as to give yourself a wide berth around the law. And so there is a kind of conservativeness in early Judaism regarding depictions of the natural world. You do have plants and animals that are sometimes depicted, even in ritual worship, but even in the Hebrew Bible, the instructions about how to create the tabernacle and the temple include depictions not only of plants and animals and things like that, but even of divine figures like the cheruvim, the cherubim, that are supposed to be depicted in different ways within the sacred precinct. So there is a conservativeness within early Judaism, not if you go to like Dura Europos or some of those other places where we have mosaics and artwork from late antique Judaism, where it is a lot more expansive, but there is a conservativeness because they don't want to accidentally break this commandment. Now, most scholars today would say, no, comic book art, figure drawing, things like that, you're not intending to worship these things. These things are not being created in order to function as divine images, and so it's not even what that commandment is talking about. So I would say you probably have a hot future in front of you, but for other reasons, having nothing to do with the second commandment. And the fit for this video is for all the punk rockers out there.